Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed.
The undead, the deceased returning to the land of the living, a concept found in nearly every ancient culture, comes in a multitude of forms. Sometimes they may appear as a ghost, the non-corporeal shade of a person that never made it to the next world. Sometimes they may appear as a vampire with a physical body needed to be sustained by the blood of the living. And then there are some forms of the undead that are simply a reanimated corpse, with no remnants of the person that they once were. The latter has gone by a number of names across time, but are commonly referred to as zombies. In horror fiction of the late 20th century and early 21st century, zombies are depicted as slow-moving, moaning, decaying bodies staggering around, birthed by evil magic, waves of radiation, or an infectious plague. They have no mind of their own, no will of their own, no other purpose than to consume the flesh of the living. Though they lack any tactical ability, and are relatively easy to defeat in a one-on-one confrontation, a zombie's true strength lies in the numbers of its horde, and its superhuman ability to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacle. While zombies have earned worldwide renown in books, movies, television, and other media, the zombie of folklore was noticeably different from its popular depiction. Our modern term for zombie, meaning animated corpse, comes from the Vodou religious practices of Haiti, rooted in spiritual traditions from West Africa. It is said that Vodou zombies are created by malevolent practitioners called bokors, with the intent on making them their servants. The zombies of Haitian lore can either be a living person with their free will taken by mystical means or powerful toxins, or a freshly deceased corpse revived through necromancy. It is important to note that the original zombies of Vodou belief look nothing like their modern depictions. Rather than a decomposing body, they appear as ordinary people, at least on the outside. They are a shell, without free will, without emotion, and are unable to feel pain. They are mindless workers, completely subservient to their masters. They may be put to work doing menial labor or household chores, or may be set upon more devious tasks such as theft, vandalism, even murder. Some say that to protect oneself against a zombie was with the use of salt, sending it back to its grave, or snapping a person out of their trance. Zombification served as an allegory for themes such as colonialism, imperialism, and oppression. For it was seen as a fate worse than death, to lose both spirit and body to slavery and imprisonment. Though different from the modern iteration we identify with as zombies, Vodou zombies possess the same traits of a body stripped of emotion and will, a stiff, jerky locomotion, and the blurred lines between the living and the dead. The modern iteration of zombies, appearing in hordes hell-bent on feasting on the living, owes its origin to George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Released in 1968, Romero managed to rewrite the entire book on zombies with this groundbreaking movie, turning them into an inexplicable monster of the apocalypse, mirroring primal fears of societal downfall that many people across the world had amidst the political and social revolution of the late 1960s. In works of fiction following the 1960s, zombies would continue to feature in works of apocalyptic horror, acting as a constant threat in a world where civilization is shattered, and survival is crucial, yet not guaranteed. Like the undead revenants of folklore, more often than not zombies lack all trace of personality or will, outside of the instinctual consumption of human flesh. They are shown in varying degrees of decay, often slowly moving towards potential prey in hordes of dozens, washing over the land like swarms of locusts, devouring anything that strays into their path. How a person becomes a zombie, though it varies by story, is most often in the form of a contagion that is spread through transfer of bodily fluids, namely blood or saliva. To be bitten by a zombie is almost guaranteed to cause a human to turn into one, not unlike stories of vampires or werewolves. In most cases, the only sure way to kill a zombie is to destroy the brain, as it is the only thing keeping them moving. Attacks to the body or even a decapitation would be rendered useless, as the zombie's other organs no longer function, nor can it feel any pain. Its limited cognitive functions do not allow it to perceive threats, or to ever stop in its pursuit. A zombie will continue its carnivorous onslaught until either it is completely decayed, or it is destroyed. A single zombie may not prove too great a threat, but horror fiction often depicts zombies congregating in massive hordes of dozens, sometimes even hundreds or thousands. A zombie horde can easily decimate a city, not too dissimilar to an invading army, and those who shelter in place may find themselves surrounded by the moaning fiends, who are unaware that they are effectively laying siege. And so the zombie's horror extends beyond the repulsion of a mobile carcass, or threat of being eaten, but to fears of being invaded, overtaken, even trapped. The theme of battling zombies is prevalent in many works of fiction. Following in the footsteps of Romero's films, works such as 28 Days Later and World War Z center around a world ravaged by a zombie outbreak and trying to regain civilization. In the Resident Evil franchise, zombies are a result of experiments in biological warfare by a corrupt pharmaceutical company that the protagonists must battle to stop. In the comic book series and later smash hit television series The Walking Dead, characters Rick Grimes, Daryl Dixon, and other survivors of a viral pandemic must learn to survive against zombies, or walkers as they are called, as well as hostile survivors after the American government crumbled under the rise of the undead. Though there are countless iterations of the undead in mythology and folklore, and zombies are neither particularly unique nor powerful on their own when compared to other monsters, they do have an astounding effect on people. Perhaps this is because zombies manage to represent so much of what humans are afraid of and repulsed by. The concepts of losing oneself, the dead returning, decay, plague, pestilence, invasion, siege, cannibalism, and the very collapse of society are all embodied in the rotting form of a zombie horde. The idea of an unfeeling and unthinking creature that resembles a person falling to pieces, relentlessly pursuing its quarry, no matter the obstacle, and often in a huge group, sinks its teeth deep into the dark imagination of people all across the world.